Boker Tov, thank you very much, Raya. Shavua Tov, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. And we are starting a new Chumash. It's always very special to start a new Chumash. And this Chumash is Chumash Bamidbar. The beginning of Chumash Bamidbar, we read a very interesting counting of Bnei Yisrael that happened while they were in the desert. And this is right before the building of the tabernacle of the Mishkan, the temporary temple, basically. And what happened is that from time to time, it actually happened 3 times during the history of Am Yisrael, Hashem decides to count the Jews. How many Jews exist? And there was a certain category. Usually it was males from the age of 13, 20 until the age of 60, something like that. So they could know how many Jews actually exist. And this is right at the beginning of our Parsha. The point of the counting, Rashi says, that the idea behind the counting of Am Yisrael was to show the appreciation and the affection that Hashem has towards Am Yisrael, right? If someone has a big pile of dollars at home that he keeps, so from time to time, he might go and count those dollars. So this is because he appreciates them, he likes them, he's happy to see them, and he's happy to count them. So that exact same thing applies also when Hashem counts Am Yisrael. Hashem counting Am Yisrael is like counting his dollars. And there's actually a story of the Rebbe that someone came to the Rebbe during the dollars, which is the Rebbe used to give out dollars every Sunday. For hours, the Rebbe stood and gave dollars. And came to the Rebbe and asked the Rebbe, well, you are an old man. How are you able to give out these dollars for such a long time, standing here on your feet? Don't you get tired? So the Rebbe said that when you count diamonds, you never get tired. And it's interesting. So this is when there's a certain appreciation and connection towards the thing that you are counting, in that case, it's much easier. And here, the question is, that we've got to understand is, first of all, well, when we come to speak about Hashem, why does Hashem actually need this action of counting? Doesn't he already know the number? What does the counting add to him? And not only that, but specifically in the timeline of the Jewish people, when we left Egypt, so the counting happened on the 1st of Iyar, which is the 2nd month. Why didn't it happen a month before? Hashem tells them to build the tabernacle. The actual building happened on the 1st of Nisan, not on the 1st of Iyar. So why did we wait with the counting all the way to the month of Iyar? And not only that, but it says here that Moshe and Aharon were the ones to carry out the counting. They were the ones to go and count Am Yisrael, unlike the other 2 times where the counting doesn't mention who exactly counted Bnei Yisrael. So, in other words, we've got here a story. That's the beginning of our Chumash, so that's an important story. But there's 3 details that don't really make sense in the story. So the story is Hashem telling Moshe and Aaron, please count Am Yisrael now at the 1st of Iyar, at the beginning of the month. And the questions are, first of all, why does Hashem need to count them if he already knows the number? Second of all, Why does it happen on the 1st of Iyar and not a month before the 1st of Nisan when the tabernacle actually was built? And third of all, why Moshe and Aaron are the ones to actually do the counting, while in other places it doesn't say who counted. Maybe it was some kind of miracle, or someone else counted, or the people counted themselves. And in order to understand this, so this will teach us a few things. First of all, we'll learn about the quality of this month. The idea of the month of Iyar, what does the month represent? What is the idea? And of course, all in a preparation to receiving the Torah on Shavuot. Also, besides that, the month, we'll speak about quantity and quality, right? There's always a question, what's better, quality or quantity? Lots of, or many objects that might not be so good, quality-wise. Or one object, but that's quality, that's got, it's like the best brand that you can get with the best quality that's available. So what is better, quality or quantity? And this is a question that applies to many fields in life. Because, for example, in studying Torah, should I try and study more in quality or more in quantity? Should I just take one page and go over and over this page for several days, several times, or even several weeks or several months? Or should I go through a few pages during that period of time, and maybe I won't know as much in quality, but I'll know much more in quantity? So what is better? Also, when it comes to doing business, right? Should I stick to one product that's very good, that has a very good quality? Or should I sell lots of products and maybe the quality of each product won't be the best? So in order to understand the answer to those questions, let's talk about the idea of counting. And this connects very much to the previous Parsha, to the end of the previous Parsha. In the end of the previous Parsha, what happened in the end of the previous Parsha was that what happened is that Hashem says, you know what? If you want to go and donate a person to Hashem, and you say, I want to donate a man to Hashem, or a woman to Hashem, which means to the Beis Hamikdash, then you pay a certain amount of money. You don't actually donate this person, but the equivalent of this person goes towards Beis Hamikdash. And in that case, we have one cost, one fee. It doesn't differ between whether this person is special in this way, another person is special in that way, this person is maybe wiser, this person is better looking, this person is wealthier. We don't go into the individual, because if a person says, I want to donate a man or a woman, so there's a set amount of money for a man and for a woman. That is the story of the previous Parsha. And it's a great thing. So in those days, if you wanted to respect someone, for example, you can say, I'm going to donate your value to Hashem, to Beis Hamikdash. In our days, it would be similar to buying an aliyah for someone, right? Sometimes in certain shuls, they sell the aliyah la Torah. When someone wants to actually receive aliyah, so he's got to purchase it when he makes the blessing, right? And what happens is that sometimes a person can say, you know what, I want to buy for my friend a blessing at the Torah, the aliyah. It's a great thing. So That's similar to what they did in those old days. Now, the idea of valuing every human being at the same price, with the same rate, is a very interesting idea. And this, the reason to that is because in all human beings, we have a basic quality that is equal by everyone. All of us have what's called this nakudas hayadus, this pintalayid, this spark of Hashem that's inside us, that does not differ between us. It could be a person's very rich, could be a person's very smart, could be a person's very good looking, or anything else like that. But at the end of the day, the point is that these people, they are all equal. In what way? That all of them have this neshama, this soul, this pintalegid. And not all the time we are able to notice and to see this spark of Hashem inside us. Not all the time it's revealed. Because when we walk outside, we see there's a big difference. And usually we judge people by looking at them from the outside, without even knowing exactly what or who they are. And we judge people and we say, you know what, this person looks like that, so therefore it means that he's this or that or this or that, whatever it is. But we tend not to pay attention to this equal sense that each and every Jew has, and this is the neshama, this is the godly soul that's inside us, and there's no difference between one another. So that is the idea of Hashem counting Am Yisrael. Hashem counts Am Yisrael. He does not count them and say, you know what, this guy's worth 2. This guy's worth 3. This guy, he's only worth... No. Hashem counted all of Am Yisrael in an equal way. Each one was worth 1. Because of the fact that each one has his pintalayid, he has the soul. In other words, Hashem was counting the soul. Hashem was not counting the qualities, the traits, the abilities, the wealth of the individual, the wisdom of the individual. Hashem was counting the person, the individual himself, and that's it, without who he is, what he did, where is he, etc. This is counting the neshama. And the idea of counting the neshama isn't just to count them to know how much people are there, because Hashem knows how many people are there. The point of counting is to reveal and to shine and to highlight these individuals. That is the idea of counting. So when someone wants to count, even if it's in the army or in the classroom, when you count and a person is this person here? Is that person here? How many are we? So there is some kind of sense where each and every person knows that he is important. He's not just a random guy, part of one unit, but he has his own quality, and now it's his time to shine. This is the idea behind Hashem counting Am Yisrael. This is the point of counting, even though Hashem knows the numbers. Yes, Hashem knows exactly how many people are there in the tribes of Israel, but Hashem wants to enlighten them. Hashem wants to make sure that these people shine, that these people bring out their qualities. That's why he counts them. Now, back to the story of first of all, of quality and quantity. So we're not only looking at the quality of things here, but each individual is important. We look at the quantity, how many people actually exist, because the Rebbe always used to speak about it. The Rebbe said that quantity brings quality. The more you, for example, when it comes to studying Torah, right? So that's a great example. You can stick to one page of Gemara, and there are people that do that. There are yeshivas that do that. They'll learn for 3 months one page of Gemara, and that's it. One page of Gemara, and that's how they'll end. That's how they will, and they do a great job. Quality-wise, they learn it so well. They know it by heart. They know all the Gemara. But the Rebbe said that quality brings quantity. In other words, if you would learn a big amount, at the end of the day, you will know also quality-wise the depth and all the interpretations to these pages. So I think it's a general discussion, but here we can see in the Parsha, Hashem counts each and every person. Hashem wants each individual to be counted, because here the quantity is important. How many Jews are there? And not only the quality, what is this person's traits? What is his wisdom? How much money is he worth? And so on. So that is the story of the counting, just the beginning of the story, because we have a few other details here. And this brings us to the month of Iyar. And the month of Iyar, and the fact that Moshe and Aharon were the ones to count. And we said, why didn't Hashem count them during the month of Nisan and not during the month of Iyar? And why doesn't Hashem count them? Or why don't they be counted by some kind of miracle? Why does it have to be Moshe and Aharon? And this brings us to the month that we are now present and to our preparation towards Matan Torah. And this is why the month of Iyar is so special. And as we said previously, that it brings us such a power to serve Hashem during this month. And the story is basically that during the month of Nisan, we received a great present, a great gift from Hashem. The gift was that Hashem took us out of Egypt. Hashem invested his time and effort to take us out of Egypt without our own individual work and labor. We did not need to work for that. The situation of Am Yisrael, unfortunately, was bad. Am Yisrael were deep into impurity. They were not pure. They were not observant. Unfortunately, they were very much connected to the Egyptians. But what happened is that Hashem, with his great mercy, schlepped us out of Egypt, basically dragged us out of Egypt and made sure that we'd leave that impurity. And then comes the month of Iyar. And the month of Iyar changes the game completely. And Hashem says, you know what? Start counting the Omer. We were speaking about counting, and this is what we're doing. Counting, again, isn't just about knowing how much people are there, but it's revealing their soul. And that's what we do every single day. The meaning of the day. And we know that each and every day has its own different sphera. Sometimes it's, for example, Chesed Shebiyasod. Our today is Chesed Shebiyasod, which is a certain sphera that represents this day and represents what we need to fix. So this is the idea behind counting. It's basically self-work. That is the idea. Self-work. We do not rely on Hashem. We've got to now go receive the Torah with our right. It's not a gift that Hashem says, you know what, I will give you everything for free. No. Hashem took us out of Egypt for free. But now we've got these 49 days to prepare receiving the Torah that's got to come with work, with our own work. And this is why we do the counting. This is why the counting didn't happen during the month of Nisan, because Hashem says, you know what? I want to count Am Yisrael and give them the power to work by themselves, to reveal this part of their neshama, because that's the point of counting. Sfartem comes from the word, similar to the word sapphire, right? Sapphire. Sapphire and Bahir, that's what it says, that sapphire is a good stone, it's a precious stone. And the idea is that we should make our days so bright and so with such light, and that's how we fix the days. So now we can understand why the counting happened during the month of Iyar. That's the month where we've got to work on ourselves. We've got to become better. We've got to work harder. And also, this is why we can understand why Hashem didn't do the counting, but Moshe and Aharon did the counting. Moshe and Aaron did the counting because this shows us that we've got to work on ourselves now. It's not up to Hashem. Hashem took us out of Egypt, but that's it. Now it's in our hands, and that's why we have to do the counting. It's got to come, in the words of Hasidus, milamata lamayla, which means from the bottom till the top. The idea is that we have to work on ourselves during this time. And of course, that this brings us and this leads us towards the receiving of the Torah. This brings us when we actually are complete with the Sfirot, when we counted each and every day and we worked on ourselves, now we can actually receive the Torah, because the Torah is all about the commands, it's all about the mitzvahs. It's not about Hashem doing it for us. It's about us starting to be involved with the world, elevating the world and making it a better place. So to summarize what we spoke about today, the idea is that basically Am Yisrael gets counted another time. And the reason for the counting is because Hashem shows his affection towards Am Yisrael. Even though he might know the number, but he wants to light us up. He wants to make sure that each soul, each Jewish soul, should shine and should have the power and the energy to actually work during this month. And we spoke about the point of the month of Iyar, unlike the month of Nisan, where the month of Nisan, it's all up to Hashem. And the month of Iyar, that is our avodah, that's our work. That's where we got to make sure that we actually bring light to the world. And that's why Moshe and Aaron did the counting, because it's got to be of our own accord. Shavua Tov, and thank you very much.